It's been about a year since 4K Blu-ray, so how's it been doing? Let's find out. What's going on, people? It's your boy Brass Tacks in this bitch. You already know. Let's talk about 4K Blu-ray. How has 2016 been? It's been pretty successful, to be honest, right? 4K Blu-ray, upon release, outsold 1080 Blu-ray 3-1. That's compared with Blu-ray when Blu-ray 1080p Blu-ray first launched. You've got all these other 4K streaming options. The competition is much greater now, and still it's doing very well. To add to that, you go shopping for a TV, you're going to be hard pressed to find a 1080p set anymore. So 4K is already being pushed as the industry standard. To any of you who are saying 4K is a fad, 4K will never go back to 1080p. Ever, ever, ever. It's not a fad, it's an evolution. 4K Blu-ray is something different. Yeah, 4K Blu-ray, you can say, will it phase out? That's yet to be determined. But if the sales currently are anything to go by, it's doing very, very well. Coming from a guy who absolutely detests physical media. I hate physical media. You know how lazy I am? I don't even like the idea of going to my shelf, getting a Blu-ray, sticking it in the player. That shit too much for me. All of my games on my consoles are all digitally bought. My music is all digital, streaming, Apple Music. Streaming is a lot more convenient, but it doesn't even come close. There's a hell of a lot of a difference between Netflix 4K and 4K Blu-ray. There is a night and day difference. 4K Blu-ray is going to be the most uncompressed format you're going to get right now. That with the Dolby Atmos and the DTS-X. Forget that. Let's talk about the visual improvements. Even the worst 4K Blu-rays are still better than the 1080p Blu-rays on a visual comparison. I don't think 4K Blu-ray is going anywhere. I think it's here to stay. Now you've got more 4K players. Microsoft did a very good move by incorporating the 4K player into the Xbox One S, and also they're going to include it in the Xbox Scorpio, which I'm also going to pick up. It's definitely helping pushing the format. Are cable companies and everyone else going to catch up? That's yet to be seen. Like here in the UK, we've got Ultra HD options on places like Sky and BT and Virgin and what have you. 4K mostly revolves around sporting events on those facilities, but they're very good. That's just going to grow. It's not like 3D. And in the UK, we had one 3D channel in this bitch. So it's definitely here to stay. I don't think the debate is whether it's here to stay or not. I think the debate is how long it's going to take for everyone to adopt. How long is it going to take for it to become a standard? That's the intangible. Most people who have stuck a 4K Blu-ray in the disc, now, granted, it's probably a reference quality 4K Blu-ray, has started adopting in 4K. A lot of my friends have already started adopting in 4K. Once you see something in 4K, a really good transfer with HDR, it's very, very hard to go back to the standard 1080p Blu-ray. It looks inferior immediately when you stick a 1080p disc back in there. You know, you got Review Tech and Yarrick. Sorry, I can't even say Yarrick anymore without shouting out 1316 Killer. He made me laugh in this bitch. He funny as hell. But it's true. Yarrick was like, well, granted, most of these movies are upscaled. Yes, most of these movies are upscaled. When companies were creating a master, I don't think they had 4K in mind. But there is a change approaching. If you look at movies like Sully, I'm telling you, Sully is the beginning of something. Sully is starting a trend. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 shot in 6K and 8K. A lot of movies being shot now have 4K in mind. So within the next year, you're gonna see a lot more reference quality discs. So the future, definitely looking bright for 4K. If I was to market 4K at the embryonic stages of 4K, before it got introduced to the masses, I wouldn't have labeled it as 4K. Because let's keep it real, 4K is not an accurate term in terms of resolution. It's not quite 4K. What I would have marketed it as is HDR. Because although photography and 4K Blu-rays aren't the same, a lot more people can understand HDR as opposed to 4K. That's what I think. You start saying HDR, Ultra HD, or HDR 4K, put HDR at the forefront. Put that on the main stage. Make that the unique selling feature. I think you probably would have had even more people adopting it. 4K would just be the resolution anyway, but the HDR standard, I think that would have made a world of difference. On the 4K disc, HDR. That's it. You don't even need to put resolution. You could, but I think HDR was definitely the way to go because not everyone gonna notice the visuals. I've had a lot of people who have noticed the color first. However far you're sitting, I know they got these charts out. If you're sitting this far away, you'll see this. If you're sitting this far away, you see that. 4K really is meant for larger televisions anyway. From a 55, I'd say 60, but like 55 and above TV, you'll notice the difference. What you will definitely notice pretty much from any distance is the HDR, the wider color. And you know, I'd say to any critic of 4K Blu-ray, experience it properly before you start criticizing. From your purchases, from TVs to any 4K content, whether that be 4K Blu-rays or whatever, what do you guys think about how is it going so far at 4K? Are you a little nervous? Are you worried that it may not last? Are you worried that this is the next 3D or the next HD DVD? What are your guys' thoughts on this? Anyway, guys, if you like the video, like it. Got comments, comment on this. Let's debate this bitch. Subscribe. You guys take care. And I'm gonna catch you next time.